many great stories out here in the Sand Wash Basin. In this rare place, people get a chance to view and photograph a true symbol of American freedom, the wild Mustang horses. These are untamed, free-roaming horses, living in often harsh and unforgiving conditions. They don't have people taking care of them. Like birds, deer, or even gophers, they are truly wild and on their own. Park rangers keep an eye on the Mustangs and provide some water when the natural ponds run dry. It is for the best, though, that they are born and live wild in nature, as this is what makes them strong. In the early spring months in western Colorado, out where the wild horses live, the ground is very wet from the winter snow melt, and there is gray, sticky clay mud in puddles all over Sand Wash Basin. Spring is when many of the baby wild horses are born. For one Mustang baby, it was a muddy puddle that first welcomed him into the world. And this is our story, May Day. But this was a serious situation. On the very first day of May 2013, a 3-hour-old baby horse was found trapped in a very large mud hole. Heidi, the mama mare, couldn't help the little guy stand up and free himself from his muddy trap. Now, being wet is very dangerous in these high, cold plains. Fortunately, that day, not far away, people were out to visit the Mustang bands and take pictures of the wild horses. Among them were two of the Three Amigos, Tosh and John Wagner. They approached carefully, as the mama thought she had to protect her little colt, and she kept the well-meaning people away. The helpless little foal struggled best he could, but was sinking deeper into the mud, and Heidi, the mama horse, still wouldn't let Joe, John, or any of the others near her baby. Then a stallion we call Yellow Man, the father of the colt, came running over to the muddy scene very suddenly. All of the people scrambled away in fear that the stallion was going to attack. That was not his purpose, however, but rather to get his mare away so his baby son could be rescued. Yellow Man kept Heidi cornered away from the mud hole and the frightened baby horse, while John Wagner and the others set themselves to the messy, difficult job of freeing the newborn colt from the deep, sticky clay mud. A brave, helpful lady named Sandra held the foal's head, while John got right in the mess and worked on pulling the colt's trapped legs. It was tough going trying to free the foal. The slimy mud was flying everywhere as they and the colt struggled. Sandra even lost both of her shoes in the deep sucking mud, but with time their efforts were successful, and they finally wrestled the messy, muddy baby out and onto solid ground. The colt, now safe, did a funny thing. As John walked away, the little colt followed him, thinking now that this was his mommy. We all had a chuckle about that. But John got away, and Yellow Man couldn't hold Heidi back any longer. Welcome to the world, little Mayday. What an adventure your first few hours of life were. You may forget all that happened on this day, but those who know your amazing story will never forget. Stallions are a big part of the scene here in the Sand Wash Basin. Like Yellowman, other stallions have their own bands of mares, youngsters, and babies too. The stallion is the protector of the band and leads them by chasing them from behind. Picasso is seen here in his distinctive tri-color coat of white, brown, and black. Like all stallions, he spends his time shepherding his band to good pasture with plenty of grass, or to water holes, or to safe places for the night. Speaking of shepherds, here's a sheep hanging out with the Mustangs, enjoying Picasso's protection. Just another part of the band. Now you have probably noticed all the wild Mustangs here have names. Each one is named by the first person to see the horse. Picasso is named after a great artist, also known for his wild colors, Pablo Picasso. Stallion fights can look pretty serious, and sometimes real injuries happen, but mostly it involves showing off. In the end, all the band settled down around the waterhole pretty well. It is in everyone's interest not to stir up too much trouble. The Mustangs of Sand Wash Basin have many kind-hearted people and rangers to protect them. The wild horses have their homes today on land belonging to all Americans and are protected by federal law. This was the result of a lifetime of dedication by a woman called Wild Horse Annie. She and the school children of America, just like yourselves today, wrote letters and called attention to the lives of the wild Mustangs. Velma Johnston of Reno, Nevada. In 1950, Velma Johnston was a 38-year-old secretary en route to work near Reno, Nevada, when she came upon a truck of battered wild horses that had been rounded up. Shocked and angered, she vowed to find a way to stop the cruel roundups. A lifelong battle began that would pit her against ranchers and powerful politicians. With the help of the school kids and a letter-writing campaign, she got the support to save the Mustangs and earn the admiration of animal lovers around the world. The book, Wild Horse Annie and the Last of the Mustangs, The Life of Velma Johnston, tells her courageous, true story. This was the result of a lifetime of dedication by a woman called Wild Horse Annie. She and the school children of America, just like yourselves today, wrote letters and called attention to the lives of the wild Mustangs. Now there are over 40,000 wild horses and wild burros roaming free on BLM horse management areas, located in 10 western states on federal lands. In 1971, when Congress passed the Wild Free-Roaming Horses and Burros Act, inspired by Velma and the students, the Mustangs were found to be roaming across 53.8 million acres of the American West.